Hello and welcome to the Responsive Family Sleep Podcast. I'm your host, Kim Hawley, holistic sleep coach, lactation consultant, peaceful parenting educator, and mom. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by all the conflicting sleep info, frustrated with sleep information that just plain felt wrong, or searched desperately for a truly gentle and responsive sleep approach, then you are in the right place. In each episode, we'll be answering your most pressing baby and toddler sleep questions, busting those sleep myths, and helping you understand truly developmental, biologically normal baby and toddler sleep, plus encouraging you to trust your intuition along the way. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome back to the podcast. This week, I want to talk about specific things to do or think about when you feel like you are in a sleep crisis with your baby or toddler. And what I mean by sleep crisis is you have hit your wall, you are just so exhausted, sleep is hard, you don't know what's wrong, like you just feel like you're past the point that you can cope. And what I see is a tendency for parents to jump in and start changing things. Like, oh my God, sleep is terrible, we have to stop nursing to sleep. We have to get baby down drowsy but awake. We need to night wean. This is the way to fix sleep, right? And whether it is or is not actually a helpful thing to do, it's really hard to thoughtfully make a change when you are really exhausted, which seems kind of counterintuitive, right? We want to make the change to improve sleep, but you have to have the resiliency to make a change if you're doing it in a thoughtful and responsive way. And honestly, arguably, even if you're not doing it in a responsive way, even if you're doing it in a more abrupt way. So what I want to do here is encourage you to actually not jump to making a big change if you feel like you are in a sleep crisis, and instead do these things. First, prioritize sleep in any way that you can for you, assuming that it's safe, right? Because even a few nights of more consolidated sleep for you will help you feel refreshed. Not perfect, mind you, but refreshed and with a bit of a better perspective on what you might actually want to change. So how do you do that in the middle of a sleep crisis, right? It could mean going to bed early, right? It could mean bed sharing because you know it gets you more sleep, but maybe you don't love it. It could mean your partner, if you have one, available to take the first part of the night and be super hands-on so that you can get a 4 to 5 hour stretch of uninterrupted sleep, right? Maybe it means calling back in that postpartum doula you used in the newborn days and asking for a couple nights of support. Or maybe your mom can come visit, or someone can come help you and get you a couple nights of better sleep. Even breastfeeding, nursing parents can do this, right? Depending on your baby's age, we might have to tweak, we might need to express, there's ways to do it though, to get you more sleep. I see so many parents fighting these strategies, right? They are literally barely functioning, but they're still going to bed at midnight because they feel like they have to clean up the kitchen and watch the bottles and do this and do that. And it's like, okay, in the big picture, sometimes we can't let everything go. But when we're in a sleep crisis, we need to get you more sleep urgently and immediately in a way that you're comfortable with and in a way that is safe. Because everything else will be easier if you've gotten a bit more sleep. Maybe it's a nap, right? Maybe it's not about the nights. Maybe it's a nap. Maybe it's taking the day off from work, right? All sorts of ways that we can accomplish that. The next thing to think about is what is going on with baby. And sometimes this isn't an actionable thing. Sometimes it is. But I do find that when parents understand what might be causing sleep to be extra hard, they're able to set down a burden of spiraling over why, right? Or that they did something wrong and that's why sleep is so hard. So it's going to be as simple as deep breath. What is going on with baby? Are they learning to crawl or walk? right? Are they having a language explosion? Are they having separation anxiety? Have we had a last month that looked like a trip, a 10-day illness, and then another trip, right? So we've been completely off routine. Lots of family in and out visiting, all these things can just throw sleep into kind of a mess and gives a bit of context. And so that might not be actionable, but it is understanding. Now, the actionable part of that is maybe it's time to go, oh my gosh, my baby is 9 months old and they're still napping 3 times a day. Let's try dropping to 2 naps. Let's try being awake longer. Let's try a later or earlier bedtime, right? And so just looking at those simple, very simple sleep timing, sleep distribution things can give you something to try. And even if it's not the right thing right off the bat, it's something to try and easy something to try, or easier than like coming in and night weaning or something big and dramatic and intense. So always when you try something, try over a few days. Don't ever want to make a judgment call based on one data point, right? One day. At any given day, any number of things might be the biggest thing shaping your baby's sleep. So we're always trying things over, 3-4 days to a week to get a sense. So looking at what is going on with baby can be a really helpful piece, and a piece that is easier if you have, gotten that 4 or 5 hour stretch of uninterrupted sleep, or just gotten more sleep over the previous night, right? You're more resourceful. This can also be a place where a sleep coach, right, is helpful. I think that there is a lot that a sleep coach brings to the table from the knowledge and experience perspective. And I don't want to minimize that, right? Like, I've been doing this for 9.5 years, and that's a lot of experience. But there's also a piece that's just being objective, being on the outside looking in, and it's so much easier to see patterns when you are not in the middle of them. So that's a piece, right? That can be helpful. And the third big thing I want you to think about is regulation. When sleep is really hard, we can sometimes feel like, I've got to get them to sleep. I've got to get them back to sleep. I've got to get them back in their crib. I've got to get a nap. I've got to do this. And that pressure is a lot, right? And so depending what's happening, sometimes we need to think about, how do I help my baby or toddler relax, calm down more around sleep? Because if they are amped up, whether that is upset or like wired and hyper, sleep is not going to come, right? So we need to focus on the calm, the regulation, the relaxation before the sleep's going to happen. Now, right alongside that, we need to turn and look at ourselves, because baby's nervous system, your kiddo's nervous system, takes cues from yours. So if you are feeling frantic, frustrated, around sleep, they are going to pick up on that. And I don't say this to blame you like it's your fault. It's not, right? We are just responding to really difficult situations. We are human. We're not perfect. And this is still something that you can work on, right? How can you do a few things for your own nervous system that help you approach sleep with your little one a bit more regulated? Not perfect. I'm not saying you have to be like totally chill, but even just, 5-10% more relaxed, more centered around sleep can make a difference for your little one. So when sleep feels like it's gone off the rails, right? We need to prioritize sleep for you, even over just a few nights. We need to look at what is going on with baby, both from like a developmental, like lots of changes, that kind of perspective, but also from the simple like sleep timings, routine perspective. And then we need to look at regulation, yours and your baby's. Now, I'm not saying this is the formula to magically transform sleep, but it is a simple way to start looking at sleep when sleep feels terrible. Now, getting back to the big changes. Oh my gosh, right? We have to make all these big changes because that's the reason sleep is so bad. More often than not, we are just blaming something for why sleep is bad. And is it a piece of sleep? Sure, but it's not the single most determinant piece of sleep. It's possible that your tool is just not working for you anymore. It's possible you're just ready to be done with it. Both of those are valid. And I find that when we troubleshoot the sleep timings, the routines, and the regulation, we can kind of see it, like, was this not working, or was, bedtime not working more broadly because they weren't tired and they were wired or hyper, or, whatever. But it's okay if you want to change it. It's going to be easier to change it once you have addressed these other pieces first. And I don't want you to pin all your hopes on, stopping nursing to sleep or night weaning or getting baby down in the crib awake. I don't want you to pin everything on those types of changes like they are going to magically transform sleep. Sometimes they will have a positive impact. Many times they won't, or they won't on their own. So I hope this is helpful, right? Giving you some manageable things to do. And of course, reach out, get support. Even if that support is someone bring me dinner, right? Please. Or, I need an hour to take a walk by myself and go have a cup of coffee somewhere and just have a few moments to center myself. There's lots of ways to get support when sleep feels really, really hard. And it's okay to ask for that support. Thank you for joining me today. I hope this episode left you feeling more informed, confident, and encouraged on your sleep journey. And just a reminder before you go that nothing in this episode is individualized to your specific sleep situation, nor is it to be taken as medical advice. Take what resonates, ignore what doesn't, and check with your healthcare provider about any medical concerns. Take a moment to subscribe to this podcast so that you'll never miss an episode. And take a moment to rate, review, or share an episode you love on social media. All of that helps parents just like you find me, this podcast, and this gentle and responsive sleep information. I'll see you next time.